All right, welcome back. A little glitch there, but I think we got it figured out. We are using kind of some newer technology here that we're still trying to figure out. I think this will work, but should be good. Kind of moving on to a few NFL headlines here. The schedule released come out this week, and I heard a poll today on Murph and Andy or Ken Miller and Trent Condon today that if you had to watch one thing this week, I think maybe it's May in general. It's the Indy 500, which is at the end of the month, the Kentucky Derby, maybe I think it was the WNBA or the NBA playoffs or this NFL schedule release. What would you pick? And they were all like, hate to say it, but it might be the what would get the most ratings, and it might be the NFL draft or schedule release, which is the least. Obviously, the Indy 500 is the most important race in open wheel racing. Kentucky Derby is the most important horse race, and then must have been the NBA because it was the playoffs. But it's early in the playoffs, so it's not championship game yet. But the NFL just has this country right where they want them, and a schedule release might get the highest ratings.
Yeah, you're right. The schedule release, whether it gets the highest ratings or not, it will get the most attention throughout the media over the next few weeks because everyone will be talking about the primetime games, NFL Network, ESPN, Fox, Pat McAfee, whoever. You'll be talking about all the primetime games, when the bye week is, who's opening night, who's the opening primetime games. Does Miami go to Buffalo late in the season or vice versa? That it's the NFL schedule release is a big deal. And it has a big effect on the NFL over unders too for each team.
Is it Chiefs Baltimore to open? Is that they did leak that, right?
Yep. Then they always leak a few games here and there. There'll be some more leaks. Today's Monday, so there'll be some more stuff tomorrow. I saw an hour or two ago Tom Brady's first game calling is going to be Cowboys at Browns.
That is interesting because I kind of thought after last year of him just not doing anything that I didn't know if he would come back. So is he, as of today, this is May 13th, is he the number one Fox guy and Greg Olson's out?
I believe so. Now, I don't know all the details. I probably should know it. I've probably heard it. It's just one of those things I haven't paid much attention to. But yeah, I believe Tom's stepping into number one right away, and Greg is kind of stepping out into the number two role, I guess you would call it. But I did see a picture just a little bit ago that Brady will be calling the Cowboys game at the Browns. Week one, I think it's a 3:30 kickoff there in Iowa. It's the afternoon game on Fox. So that'll be his first live action. Green Bay versus Eagles in Brazil, first Friday.
Is that opening weekend?
That's the opening weekend, and then Sunday night and Monday night. At least as of right now, I don't think they've announced it yet, but wouldn't be surprised if that happens later tonight, tomorrow, or by Wednesday at the latest.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd be interesting to see Tom Brady being the lead analyst. So
I have no idea how he's going to do. Like I said last week, I think when we talked, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back mid-season to a team that's in contention. Say if Tua gets hurt and the Dolphins are sitting there at 8-3, and he steps in or something like that. I don't know how that would work under contract and all that. I don't know if the NFL would allow it, but it'd be good drama though for the NFL.
Yeah, because then he'd be working for an NFL, partner. He is a partial owner of the Raiders also.
I believe that's impending. From what I heard the other day is he was getting ready to buy a percentage of it.
Right.
And the NFL stepped in and said no to Mark Davis and said, no, we're not going to let you sell this percentage for this low. You need to sell at a premium. And they basically blocked the deal from happening.
Mark Davis just wanted the publicity and to get Brady
and to get the money
in the ownership group.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously get a little bit of money. I mean, whatever it was he was actually selling it for.
Yeah, the NFL stepped in and said, no, we're not going to let you. It needs to be basically a lot more money than this for us to approve it. The Dolphins owner, I think a week or two, got offered $10 billion to sell the team, and he said no. And some people have come out and said, yeah, $10 billion, all these websites can list that's what they're worth. They're worth 2 or 3 times that because of what they're going to make over the next 10 to 20 years, everything that ensures. Owning an NFL team is basically the most guaranteed profit business out there right now. You are guaranteed to make money. You're not going to lose money.
Right, because of the salary cap that they have, and just the NFL, just like we were talking 2 minutes ago, if you put the Kentucky Derby, the Indy 500, which are the 2 biggest events in that respective sport, with the schedule release of the NFL would win.
Yep, absolutely. Outside of the state of Kentucky or outside of the state of Indiana, the schedule release is going to win, and the schedule release won't just win that day or that night; it'll win for the next few weeks.
It's those teams. I think like George Halas started the Bears for 2,500. Rooney, old man Rooney, $3,000. Now, $3,000 in 1932 or whatever year it started, whole different ball game. But still, those families haven't had to do anything since. They're then even you look at Jerry Jones. I think bought the Cowboys in 1988 for like $90 million. And then you go to another, Major League Baseball. I think George Steinbrenner bought the Yankees for like $35 million in 1973. And now, the Yankees might be the wealthiest franchise in American sports. Them and the Cowboys would be the 2.
Yeah, whatever these websites say they're worth, take it times 2 or 3.
Right.
Because you have to think long term. They might be worth $10 billion today, but they'll be worth $20 billion in 10 years.
Right.
Or however many. So, yeah, it's NFL schedule release is a big deal. Before we got on, Jared Goff got paid a new contract for a 4-year extension, $212 million, which is about right. 53 a year is going to be fine, especially with the cap going up. He's only 29 years old. I'm kind of a big Jared Goff fan. I think he's one of probably the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. So I think it's good for the Lions. A lot of people are freaking out over it, thinking it's too much money. It's the price of doing business if you want to win. If you want to go back to being the same old Detroit Lions, let them walk and go back to winning 4 or 5 games a year.
Yeah. A good starting quarterback from now going forward is over $50 million a year. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's going to keep going up. 2 years from now, it'll be in the 60s. 3 or 4 years from now, or even sooner, it'll be in the 70s per year.
That's crazy.
That's just the way it's going to be. And Dak's going to be the next man up to Trevor Lawrence. Those are the next guys.
All right, and then the next thing on our rundown here was Sanders, Dion, and Shedeur. They are just making it hard on themselves, I believe. And Dion is trying to control every narrative and control everything. And that we kind of talked about that with Lisa Bluter a little bit. Her trying to control what she could control and take off the plate of Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes in general. Well, Dion's almost doing the opposite, like putting it on his son and making it worse by what he says and does for his son. His son is very good, and he went to Colorado to help his sons to show that they could play Power 5 football, and they can. He's good. He very well might be the number 1 pick next year because he's a really, really good quarterback, and quarterbacks go high. We found out that this year in the draft, and next year's draft is not great at quarterback, which is why one of the reasons he didn't come out this year is just, as we saw, 6 of the top 12 picks were quarterbacks. Next year, that's not going to be the case. He's going to be one of the top, probably the top 1 taken. But, Dion runs it his way, and he kicked a lot of kids off the team, or they left, however you can phrase it however you want. He kicked them off the team is how I'm going to phrase it. And then some of them are kind of clapping back a little bit on, how things aren't, sunshine and rainbows, as Dion would love to make everybody think about it. And then him and Shedeur come back, and I don't even know who that is. He isn't good, just whatever. There comes a point, and it's not Deion style. He's been the same way since 1989 when he was at Florida State. But sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut and let them say what they're going to say. You just got
to. When Deion first came to Colorado and the season was starting, you and I had plenty of conversations about how I thought it was good. The attention that he was bringing, he was doing the Deion primetime thing, great for the university ratings. This is getting a step too far, and it's not even really with Deion, even though Deion's in his 50s. I think it's a little childish what he's been doing. That's just how he is. I think Shedeur coming out and ridiculing this former teammate is a bad look for a quarterback. As a quarterback, you're held to a higher standard. People want to give Caleb Williams crap. Caleb Williams hasn't done anything close to this. Mm-hmm. He painted his fingernails and he cried after a loss. What would he do? I mean, you may not love it, but this is treading a line now that I don't even like. You're the quarterback. You're about to be a face of a franchise next year. And there's a lot of rumors, not rumors, there's talk that the NFL teams are paying attention to this. NFL's old school. You probably heard the Spencer Rattler stuff come out during the draft. He did that quarterback one or whatever it was in high school where he was immature, and it still affected him to this day. Shedeur is projected to be a first-round pick right now. It'll be between him, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, and Jalen Miller out of Alabama, who I actually am pretty intrigued by. But there's no guarantee he's the number one pick. Now, if he has a great season, NFL teams will overlook stuff. But I think as a quarterback, you can't be doing this. And I know it's a new age. I'm usually a little bit more new school with a lot of this stuff. But I don't like this out of Shedeur. I just, as a quarterback, man, you're the face of the team, the face of the franchise. You can't be calling out former teammates like that, I don't think.
Oh, and that's where, Deion had an advantage where he was a defensive player, corner, punt return, kick return, receiver, just kind of, but he was never the quarterback. So
you want that out of those positions.
Right. You need the flash and the show, and, that's just, and that was him. But again, he was the face, but he wasn't the inherent leader by position. Now he was a leader, don't kid yourself. And he was I would assume a great leader, won titles many places, but it was his way or no way. And, there is a reason where when people did not move around like they do today, he played for Atlanta. He played for Dallas. He played for, San Francisco. His shine wore off. I think wore on people. And so there comes a point where sometimes there's just time to move on.
Yeah, he's making it very easy for people to hate Colorado even more than they already do. Like I said, last year I thought it was fun because nobody pays attention to Colorado college football, even people in the state. So I thought it was fun in a good way. Now I think we're getting to a point where we're getting to that fine line in sports. And Deion's always Deion, but again with Shedeur, I just don't like it out of a quarterback. I don't think that's the way to conduct yourself. You're the leader of the team, and you should act a little bit more mature than that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I really don't have anything else. I think we're right about an hour now when I put these two clips together. Should be back next week, regular time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, everybody, for listening, subscribing, rate, review. Send me an email with your address and your rate and review screenshot, and I'll mail you out a koozie. Still got several left. We have done a few, but I'd love to send out more. So, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to everybody next week.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.